So let's settle in. Just allow yourself to come into the physical space where you are. You've already gotten up and walked over and sat or done whatever it is you needed to arrive, but now allow yourself to arrive. Meaning let go of all the other stuff that maybe you still need to do today. Let go of the stuff that you were doing just that moment before you arrived here. Let go of any of the stressors or any of the worries of today and really arrive in this present moment. And the best way to do that is just to breathe in slowly and deeply and intentionally. And then this moment will begin to pass as you breathe out. And again, arriving in this moment, slow breath in. And allow the moment to begin to pass, a slow breath out. And just continue breathing in a rhythm that feels good. And think of each breath as this beautiful present moment that we've been given. We don't breathe into the future and we don't breathe into the past. We breathe now. And just think what a gift that is. We were busy right before we showed up. We were busy right before we sat. And we might get busy again once we leave. But this moment here, this is what matters. Slow breaths in, full breath out. And as we prepare just to sit with our thoughts, our reflections, our awareness for these few minutes that we have, I would invite you just to stop and think about your day. Just kind of survey it from hour to hour across the chunks of time and just remember how your day was. The really good, joyful parts of it. The parts where you struggled. The parts that you can't quite remember. You know they happened, but there are no images, there's no memories that really associate with those parts. So just kind of scan from the morning to the end of the day. Get a sense of how your day has gone. And then almost as if you've scanned that on this tape or this video, this screen, imagine yourself just pressing the off button and realizing the day is done. Those situations are done. And yes, there are things in our life that carry across many days, and there are things that go across periods of time. But the finite situations of today are done. And again, we don't breathe into the past. We are here now in this precious, incredible moment. And I was reflecting yesterday morning and again this morning about tonight's meditation. And I was just sitting out, as I often do, in my backyard. And it was really quiet and still, and the sun was not quite up this morning. And I looked out across the surface of the pool. And our pool is on a timer, and around about 7:30, so after sunrise, the pump starts up and the waterfall begins to move and the water begins to just cycle. But in those moments during my time this morning, the pool was still. There was no wind. The water wasn't moving at all. And I could see where some of the leaves from the night had fallen from the trees and were just on the surface. And then I could look below the surface all the way down, and for me that's about 6 feet down, and I could see clearly on the bottom of the pool where some leaves had settled. I saw a few acorns down there. I even saw a toy that someone had forgotten to pick up. And I could see these things so clearly. And I thought, wow, what a great way for us to live. Wouldn't it be amazing if our life was as clear as that surface of that pool? No ripples, no disturbances, no noise, just pure clarity. And I would venture to guess that just like my moments early in the morning, you have moments like that in your day. Sometimes they feel like they're very, very few and they're very short. But there are moments in our day when everything grows still and quiet and our clarity begins to increase. And we can see everything around us. No guessing, no wondering, it's just clear. And then I went out later in the day, and of course the pump was running as it should. The water was just kind of shifting around. The waterfall was doing what it's supposed to do. And I noticed that there were still some leaves floating on the surface of the pool, but I couldn't quite make out anything on the bottom. I knew in my logical mind what was there, but I couldn't with certainty see each thing. And I have a feeling that we also experience those kind of moments in our day, and probably we'd all say that those moments seem to fill up most of our time. When there's noise and there's movement and there's disturbances and we can't quite find the clarity. But then I thought, if I really want to be able to see through that water and know what is down there and feel the peace that that clarity gives me, all I have to do is walk over to the pool equipment and turn the pump off. It's a simple button, and the water would become still again. And I could see everything. Y'all, that's what this practice is. Our meditation practice, our yoga practice, our breath work, all of these tools that we use in these isolated parts of our day and our life, they're our chance to turn off that pump and let everything become still again. And we know that once we rise up from these places, or we leave the mat, or we open our eyes and we re-engage in the activity of the day, we know the disturbances will come. The water will start to shift and move, and things will become less clear. But we also know, because of what this practice teaches us, that the power is ours to just press that button to turn it off. We can pause during our day. We can remove ourselves from situations that cause us stress and anxiety. We can go outside and breathe in fresh air. Listen to the birds. Touch the grass. There's a verse from our book that teaches us about yoga, the sutras. It says, yoga, sita, vritti, nirodha. Vritti is what we all have. That's these thoughts, these fluctuations, these changes and movements all around us. But what it says is that yoga calms those thoughts and fluctuations. And not yoga, just the physical practice, but the totality of it. The yoga we're doing right now. The sitting, the breathing, the pausing, the awareness. Our practice is our button to turn these things off. But I fear that we often forget because our world doesn't operate from that way. It just keeps putting things in front of us that feel like giant boulders, giant walls, giant potholes. And we have two choices. We just push our way through with frustration, with a lack of a sense of clarity, with not a lot of peace. And we just hope that it won't last too long and we'll come out okay on the other side. But what if, as we look out across these disturbances, the way that I looked out across that pool that was starting to move and shift, what if we remember the power is ours to stop it? Now, I know that we can't stop a situation or we can't change a person's behavior, but we can pause and choose what we're going to do next. We breathe. We walk. We close our eyes. We fold over and bring our head below our heart. We do all the things that we know help us to arrive in this moment like they have now. But y'all, this practice will only be the fullness of what it can give if we take it away from this space where we are right now. It's got to inform all the other parts. Otherwise, we go through our day disturbed, uneasy, lacking our peace. And that's not how we're intended to live. And so as we sit for these next just a few minutes of quiet, let the quiet represent what I saw on the surface of that pool. And just imagine yourself just kind of peering through the water and seeing everything, every little speck, every little tiny acorn, everything with certainty, with security. And as you do, notice how grounded and safe that makes you feel. One of my favorite authors calls that creating an undisturbable mind, meaning it really doesn't matter what the world throws in my way tomorrow. I will enter it with an undisturbable mind. Let's cultivate that across these next few minutes. Slow breaths in, full breaths out. Breathing in, feel the calm, feel the peace. Breathing out, feel the release of whatever is disturbing that calm and peace. Breathing in, calm, peace. Breathing out, the disturbances. Breathing in, calm, peace. Breathing out, the disturbances. It is completely within our control, within our power, to turn off that pump and let the water become clear and still again. There is no situation, there's no person in our path, there's no circumstance which truly has the power to choose for us. The power lies with us. We have our breath. We have the foundation of this practice. We have this expansive toolbox of the things that we know that will bring us calm and peace. So begin to notice in the days to come when your surface of your water starts to look a little shaky, when you can't see that metaphorical bottom of the water anymore, and then do something to change it. Yoga Sita Vritti Naroda. This practice gives us the tools to calm the thoughts, the fluctuations, the waves of our mind. We just have to remember to use those tools every single day. We breathe in the peace and the calm. We breathe out anything that disturbs it. Namaste.